And if I can get him to bring his front end toward me, I know that I've got enough draw. I'm actually pulling him toward me without pressuring him on, say, like it's easy to get the horse to move away. You just spook him away. But if you can get the horse to actually step towards you, then you actually start to link up the drawing sense within them. And Deb calls it the birdie, because it can fly and land on your shoulder. So it's like their attention hops onto your shoulder and sits there with you. And then wherever their attention goes, their mind goes too. And that includes like inward, sort of in a panic state. Their body goes sort of inside out too, in the sense that it becomes super tense and they start to move within themselves as opposed to outside, which is really dangerous. And I'm really like, just now was the first time I thought about using the saddle with him, and I don't want to be in a rush to use it, to just throw it on there and get him saddled, because by the time I saddle him, I'd like it to be that he's like, what's that, buddy? Oh, that's a saddle. Oh, that's cool. What's it do? It's gonna go on your back. He's like, oh, well, that's cool. I like you. I trust you. Let's do it. Let's try it out. Instead of just like having him ride that line between afraid and panicked. You get him to the point where he maybe even enjoys the experience. He's curious about it. So the scratching thing is really the only reward I give other than the release of the flag. I don't give treats, and the scratching is maybe more potent than the flag. He really starts to think that you're something to hang around. So I'm almost exclusively looking at the nature of his movement. Obviously he's with me, and this is the goal, to get him to the point where you can just go out and he's just hooked on, so that if you have the shank, you don't need the shank. You don't ever have to pull on their head if you do it this way. Now these horses will probably end up being duded, but they'll be more capable of just drawing toward the person leading them, or the pony horse in front of them, or the horse ponying them in front, or the rider. When he moves them forward, he won't have to just wail on them. He'll just put his attention forward, and the horse will go where his attention is. And then all the reins and your leg and your aids get used for actually shaping the horse up. So without any reins here, I can get him to disengage his hind end. I can get him to bring his forehand toward me. And then once you have enough draw that you can keep them with you, you can actually move them away. You can have them bent towards you, moving away. You can have them bent away, moving toward. You can do all sorts of cool stuff once you get them really just thinking about what you're trying to tell them in a way that satisfies their value structure and lets them actually respond to your request, because you've sorted out most of their life, most of their worries and their requests for you to be competent. They have a high competence requirement before they'll hand over their will. But then, as far as I can tell, once they do, they're really committed. But you continually have to challenge the level of pressure that they'll be with you at, otherwise it kind of fades. And we get to the idea that we're somewhere with our horse, and then the horse has something happen and sees it different, and you have to take his word for it. He's not lying. So you have to go where he is and start working with the feel he has offering you, and then you start to unify his feel with your feel. Huh? Where? Huh, wow. Must be at this time. Yeah, yeah, we can quit. So how would I sum this up? So positive experience. I wanted to get this horse thinking on putting his birdie on me, so that next time I try and catch any of them, this horse doesn't encourage them other ones to run. So when I come up to them, they all do this, and then they just say, "Who do you want? You want me? You want me?" So he's disengaging his hind end. He's looking toward me. I'm not having to pressure his butt. I'm capable of drawing his shoulder in once in a while, which is positive, and he's moving in a really relaxed way. So I think those are all wins. And I'd probably start working with the saddle blanket now and probably a halter. And the more I can get him to disengage his inside hind leg, moving away from me, the more I can get him to get it under him. And then he gets to the point where it's under him enough, he can actually sort of lift up his front end more and pack me. So there's a combination of movements that I'm trying to encourage in him that lead to him being able to pack me more fluidly, more physically, more gymnastically, and in a more relaxed, sustainable way for the rest of his life. And maybe extend his serviceable life by a decade, because lots of horses are cooked at 20 because they weren't ridden properly. This is really good. I think I'll leave it here today. No gear. Come back in the morning and work him. And yeah, you might as well stop it. Probably can't see, eh?
Well, it's getting pretty green. I can see, but it's getting quite green.
Yeah, that's fine. That was a good